Hi, I'm TS, and I've been procrastinating making this video because I'm afraid it's going to be a long one. It's 2023. We're already heavy into March. I don't know if retrospective of 2023 is even relevant, but I thought somebody might like to see it. We'll just document it for the future. Anyway, 2023 was a long, crazy year, right? Or was it? I mean, it seems like a lot of crazy things happened, but as the pandemic fades further into the past, the dichotomous nature of the new normal seems to move some things forward and some things back. The last couple of years teed up some insane dominoes that are beginning to teeter, and who knows how long it'll take for them to fall. And apologize for mixing my metaphors there. The chaos and catastrophe rise globally. We all just kind of sit here and go, yeah, that seems about right. We found out that aliens may be real, and we all just collectively shrugged our shoulders and said, so what? It was the hottest year on record, and it's easy to say a statement like that and not really think about it, but that's really kind of crazy. Hawaii was on fire, and killer whales started attacking boats. That's never happened. Killer whales love people, and they usually avoid boats and people, but collectively in various places around the world, they've been attacking boats. We had banks failing. We found out 45 is a big old poopy pants, which, aren't we happy about that? A little bit. Roseanne is still relevant somehow. The rise of Nepo babies. If you don't know what Nepo babies, or as for that matter, if you don't know what Skibbity Toilet is or what an NPC is, and you've never heard the names Colleen Ballinger, Adam 22, Little Tay, or Gypsy Rose, you're doing better than a lot of us. So if you don't know what any of those things are, I don't encourage you to go look it up. It won't change your life for the better at all, knowing what those things are. So we won't even pretend those things are real news. Inflation was out of control, yet the economy is doing better than ever. There's record job creation, yet most Americans are living paycheck to paycheck or being homeless. The Republican debates were as annoying as they were useless. They just seemed to be a fight to who would be the orange guy's vice president when it comes to that. Hopefully it doesn't come to that, but this time next year we'll see. The doomsday clock was set to 90 seconds to midnight. You don't know what that is, look it up. It's kind of important, though it's also kind of vague what that really means. But the reason for that was, despite the Ukrainian invasion still being a thing 2 years, a year and a half later, we also had Hamas attacking Israel, and I don't really have a position on that because I think wars based on religion are completely stupid, and I just want them all to die. I'm just gonna say it. I'm not afraid to say I want anybody that is a fundamentalist, Christian, Jew, or Muslim to just die, because you are not progressing the world forward in any substantial way. Anyway, we won't get too wound up yet. Did you know that India went to the moon this year? Yeah, that's how crazy this year was. We didn't even... That barely made a blip on the radar. It's craziness. Okay, let's just start at the beginning of the year. And I'm going to try to go through these quick so this video doesn't end up being too long. If there's anything that I say that sparks an interest, you can Google it yourself and find out more in depth. There's way more intelligent people out there that can explain a lot of these things better than I can. So anyway, January, Congress went weeks without a speaker. It took 15 tries, 17 tries for them to finally appoint, well, I forgot his name even, McCarthy. He's a blip on the radar, so you don't even have to remember his name. That all goes to shit later on in the year anyway. MAGA Mitch froze up on the air twice. He was in front of people and just completely froze for like 17 seconds. Just luckily, hopefully putting a little spotlight on the fact that everybody in government is way too freaking old. Retire already. You're already a millionaire, and you've already screwed the world and the country as best you can. So just freaking go home. I said I wasn't going to get upset this early, but a 6-year-old took a gun to school and shot his teacher. And mass shootings are occurring every day still, and there's been no effort to change gun laws. Fucker Carlson was triggered by a sexy Eminem. Prince Harry put out a book. Panic at the Disco breaks up. Justin Bieber sold his catalog for $200 million. The TV show Velma failed, which I didn't really care about that because I don't like Mindy Kaling very much, and so I kind of knew it wasn't going to be funny or good. Mr. Beast was canceled. Tom Brady retired again, and also had a AI special where they used his likeness to create a comedy special. I don't know. I don't really care. We shot down a Chinese spy balloon. There was a train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, months after a movie had come out where people that were involved with the train derailment were extras in the movie that paralleled the events that ended up happening, like down to a T almost. It's crazy. There's a movie called White Noise, I think, with Adam Driver. There was an earthquake in Syria. Japan found 7,000 islands that it didn't know that it had. They were just out there. which I thought with global warming and the oceans rising that we're going to be losing land, and Japan just finds 7,000 islands that it didn't know about. George Santos. You might want to remember that name because it will be a trivia question eventually. Bruce Willis retires after pumping out 24 movies over the last couple of years straight to video. I'm sure none of them are very good. But it's kind of sad. He was diagnosed with aphasia and dementia. Ice Spice. I'm going to predict that she will be a trivia question someday. She's so 2023 that I don't think she has much of a career to live up to. Cocaine Bear was a thing. My childhood took over the Oscars. You had Brendan Fraser won an Oscar after not being around for 20 years. Jamie Lee Curtis won an Oscar. And Short Round won an Oscar. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Probably the best movie to be made so far this century. AI becomes ubiquitous, and there's a crazy picture of the Pope with 6 fingers and a puffy gangster coat. Sinead O'Connor dies because she can't tear that picture up because it's digital. I don't know, I didn't quite work that joke out too well. Biden made a bad decision and allowed the drilling in Alaska, which is not a good thing. Dudesy, I think. Is that the AI's name or is that the guy's name? Basically created an AI. He did the Tom Brady comedy special, but then he made an AI George Carlin special called I'm Glad I'm Dead, which I'm sure he is, and it actually was kind of funny. There's a lot of legal ramifications about whether they should be using people's likenesses. It's going to happen a lot more, I'm sure. So I'm glad that we're getting that out there in the spotlight to figure out these legal problems early. Major layoffs by tech companies, Amazon, Twitch, and Twitter. So that's all going to crap. There was wins and losses for LGBT rights and protests and all of that. There was states were passing pro-trans and LGBT legislation, which is good. But then you also have the federal government and the Supreme Court trying to fuck everybody in the asshole. Multiple states approved legislation for abortion rights, which is great. We just got to keep fighting them, keep fighting them, keep fighting them. Well, Elon ruins Twitter and blows up a SpaceX rocket. A trans person was on a Bud Light can, so the right-wing retards blew their minds, thinking that Bud Light was going to turn them gay or something. I don't know. You had Kid Rock shooting Bud Light cans with the AR-15. I think it was all performative. I work at a bar, and even the hardcore conservatives, I haven't seen any change in how much people drink Bud Light. It's just a mess. I think it's all just made up and performative. Speaking of the right, our lovely orange one was arrested. First president to ever be indicted. And he got 4 of them. 4. And it just makes his base stronger. It just shows me how utterly stupid, and just shows me how utterly stupid the right-wing base is. How do you not see? Calm. There was more mass shootings, and fucker Carlson finally got fired from Fox, but immediately went on to Twitter, I think, maybe, or some other thing. I don't know. I think maybe he's gonna go. I predict that he's gonna go deeper and deeper into his own echo chamber, and I would hope that he would just fade away, go away. He's already a millionaire. He's the heir to the Swanson TV dinner fortune. So I just when he's interviewing somebody, he just makes that I just don't even understand your words. It makes no sense. But I know that's not going to happen because I'm in the future. So I know that within a year, he was allowed to be the lapdog and interview Putin, and basically just once again just makes a laughingstock of himself. But let's just keep going. They tried to cancel the Dalai Lama because he did something stupid. I think it was innocuous. I think he was being silly. Basically stuck out his tongue and told a little kid to suck on his tongue. And I don't think there was anything weird there. It's a little weird, but I don't think he meant anything by it. I think he was just being silly. And people just want to be outraged by anything. The writer's strike continued. I think it eventually was resolved, and I think that's good. On May 5th, the World Health Organization pronounced that COVID was over. Yay. I still think there's hundreds of people dying from it, but just like the flu, it's just the flu now. It's just the flu now. I mean, 1,000 people die a month from the flu. So, what are you gonna do? You had King Charles's coronation. There's more. Elon Musk, Montana bans TikTok after the CEO of TikTok testifies in front of Congress, just showing how old and out of touch those people were. They were asking him some of the stupidest questions. Like, they don't even know how their phones work. Which, to be fair, I think most people don't know how their phones work. Ron DeSantis, his run for president was a failure from the start. He interacted with people like the robot that he is, and he said some weird thing to a kid about his icy having having a lot of sugar in it. I don't know. It was just weird, and his lifts in his shoes and all of that. He's awful. He's just awful. Ted Lasso was a great show, apparently. I don't know, I never got to see it, but it seemed pretty wholesome and seemed like a good show. You should go watch it. It's about sports ball, so I probably won't ever see it, but Biden falls down again. If you noticed in June and July, super hazy skies through our summer. That was because Canada was on fire. The Unabomber unalives himself in prison. And we come to the Ocean Gate Titan, which are we supposed to feel bad for a bunch of billionaires? Last year or the year before, we had all the billionaires going into space. So that whole thing was a red flag to begin with. They were running it off of a PlayStation controller. It would get lost at random times. They would lose contact with it for hours and minutes at a time. So, moving on. Fall Out Boy rewrites the lyrics to We Didn't Start the Fire, updating it from 87 when Billy Joel left off till now, and I don't think anybody cared. Biden fought really hard to get student loans forgiven, and they fought him every second, but he was able to get some. Hopefully we'll get back to that. That'll be something that he'll do. We could flip the Congress and the House back. They'll really help him with stuff like that, but till then, we need to really work on getting him back, getting him reelected. I don't want Biden, but that's what we have to deal with. And we'll circle back in another 4 years. If Trump gets in there, I said I wouldn't say his name. If 45 gets back in there and becomes 47, 45 and 47, it'll be the end of democracy in this country. I'm sure of it. So we'll see. I don't know if he would ever leave the White House. Normally I would say just doesn't matter. He's gonna fuck up some stuff, but in 4 years we'll start writing it again, just like we did these last 4 years. But this time he's already laid groundwork, and it won't be good if he gets back in there, I promise you. And there was something I wrote down about Russian propaganda, which I'm sure, whatever. It's like water is wet. The Barbie movie, Barbenheimer, that'll be another trivia question. How many people remember the Oppenheimer movie, but the Barbie movie became the 14th top grossing movie of all time, made hundreds of millions of dollars, and makes me think, what happened to your little go woke, go broke thing? It just doesn't apply to some things, does it? Just because your little slogan rhymes doesn't mean that it's true. I found out that Amy Schumer was supposed to be Barbie, and that would have just been a completely different movie, and I almost guarantee that it would not have been a $200 million movie if that was the case. But Elon again changes Twitter to X, and I love it. Everybody collectively refuses to accept that. It's called Twitter. Elon also challenged Mark Zuckerberg to a fight. It would be like the best nerd fight in history. I don't know. I think Elon's got him on weight, but I think Zuck actually does some kind of Tybo or something. I don't know. That would have just been fun to see. Lizzo was canceled, which good. I'm kind of tired of her fat ass. 45 surrendered for would that have been his third indictment? Surrendered and took a mugshot, which he subsequently sold to his idiot base with the slogan, "Never surrender." The picture he had taken where he's surrendering says "No surrender." It's just, you can't make up this stupidity. The Eras Tour ends, and the government psyop to have Taylor Swift fuck the Chiefs to a Super Bowl so that they can get Biden reelected is, I don't know. That's about as far as they thought it through. I don't think there's more. I'll get back to that. There's more on that later. Oliver Anthony put out his little bluegrass dog whistle song that the right wing tried to get behind it, and he kind of shut him down. Said he doesn't know what he's fighting against in that song. It made no sense. But that will be another trivia question, footnote in history. I did appreciate the fact that he was offered an $8 million recording contract and turned it down. It shows that he has a little bit of dignity. And Burning Man was rained out, and California had a tropical storm hit it from the west, which has never happened before. There was the Alabama boat brawl. If you don't know what that is, you do need to look that up. It was amazing. Doja Cat tried to get herself canceled, like she does about once a year. Bunch of tweets attacking her fans or something. I don't know. Don't really care. The Mexican alien thing was completely debunked. That wasn't a real deal. Lauren Boebert went to see Beetlejuice, the musical, and nothing has happened. How often do you think about the Roman Empire? That seemed to be a thing this year. I think it more became a thing by people wondering if it was a thing. So, I don't know. It was silly. Anyway, let's get back to Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift became the Person of the Year, which made the alt-right heads explode. She also became a billionaire. She won 1 million awards, and she broke up with her boyfriend of 6 years, screwed around with Matt Haley of the 1975 for a while, Then began dating a Chiefs guy and was seen at every Chiefs football game. I think she was on the screen more than the players at some point. They won. Imagine that. It was, it worked. The whole psyop worked. But there was no announcement. There was no proposal. There was no endorsement. I don't think these right-wing people think through their conspiracy theories too far. It made no sense. It just seemed like a way to spew a bunch of bullshit into the news and into the collective consciousness, and it's just doesn't help anybody. There was an arrest, apparently, of a person that killed Tupac. There was almost a fight in the Senate. Senator Mullins stood up and was gonna fight some guy. Testifying is. It's a bad deal when you have to have Bernie Sanders break up a fist fight. Sam Bankman-Fried. I don't care. The only good thing about that is it kind of started to put the nails in the coffin of crypto, which I think is a good thing. The first Tesla Cybertrucks were delivered and apparently immediately began rusting. So they're a bunch of rust buckets. If you don't know who Sniper Wolf, or as I say, Sniper Wolf, is, it's a good thing, but don't let your kids watch it. She is an awful person. She's fun to look at, but she is an awful, awful, awful person. If you want to Google some of the stuff that she's done, and she's not even good at her job. You're gonna deal with somebody like Kanye. At least he is good at what he does when he's not off being a psycho somewhere. There was a solar eclipse. Anybody know that? I didn't. The Las Vegas Sphere opens, and I think U2 was the first events that they had there. It looks pretty amazing. I don't know if it's $3 billion amazing. And a price tag of $3 billion. I don't even want to know how much it costs to go to an event there. It's got to be out of my price league, so I have to shit on it because I'll never be able to go to it. Mike Pence drops out of the presidential race, and I don't think anybody even noticed. After Kevin McCarthy was kicked off being the House Speaker, they went weeks without a speaker, and out of the frying pan into the fire, they picked Mike Johnson, who's only been a congressperson since 2016 or 2016, I think. And he is a dangerous Christian nationalist, extreme MAGA, and already takes his marching orders from the old orange guy. So that's bad. That's bad. So hopefully we can flip the House. I don't really know how all that stuff works, but apparently I thought it was whoever has the majority has the speaker. So if we can flip a few more seats and get that House back, we can get rid of that guy. We won't get rid of him out of Congress yet, but get him out of that speaker seat. Because that's third in line to the presidency. You got the president, vice president, and then speaker. And we think Trump is bad. Mike Johnson would be a terrible, terrible president. You think LGBT and trans and women and people of color are marginalized now. Wait until we get a Christian nationalist MAGA person as the president. It's gonna be bad. It will be. It would be bad. It would be bad. There was a hurricane in Mexico. I don't think that's ever happened that we know of. Seems like I say that a lot. That's never happened. There was a new Beatles song now and then. That was okay. Jared Leto climbs the Empire State Building. Anybody know this happened? I didn't. So crazy. There's more Mr. Beast. Snoop came out and said he quit weed, but we all knew that was a bunch of crap. I learned more about Jada and Will Smith's love life and life than I ever wanted to know or care to know. Rosalind Carter dies, so I imagine it won't be long for Jimmy Carter. He's already 100. David Tennant went back to Doctor Who. We lost the only pandas back to China that we had. Henry Kissinger dies at 100 and goes straight to hell. Finally, they expelled George Santos from Congress, so we were able to flip that seat. There's some more Kanye stuff. Twitch changed its policy on nudity and instantly became BoobTube for a week or a day or however long it was. I don't go on Twitch. I think it was an awful. It's not a bad platform. I wanted to start streaming, but the interacting with the platform was just not worth the trouble. And last but not least, we had a Turkish politician drop dead of a heart attack while ranting about the religious atrocities in Israel, which I kind of thought was as funny as it could be with somebody dropping dead. Thought God just struck him down. Anyway, that's the video. That was 2023. And this year has just gotta be better, huh? At least until the end, when the world goes to shit after the election. So if you're here to watch this in one year, good luck. Good luck to all of us, because this year is gonna be rough. I'm out.